Man, that might be one of my favorite videos I captured all year long. What is going on, everyone? It is Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central. You guys know what that means. We have got a panel with us here tonight. First up, Mr. Klint Tucker with What Smoking Promotions. Mr. Tucker, how are you?
Great. How's everybody doing this evening?
We're doing good.
Living.
Yep. We have Mr. Charles Pooch down here in the corner. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing just fine. Hello, Clint. We're going to wear you out this week.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, buddy. I always like talking to you, Charles, especially late at night.
That's best time.
Yeah. Get it all figured out then.
Yeah, Mr. Zane Daly, buddy, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Did I get your last name right? I was wondering about that as I hit the go live, but I meant to ask you.
Yeah, you did. One of the few.
And then, as always, it's me and Wyatt again. Wyatt, how are you, bub?
One final to go. That's how I'm doing.
I remember those days. I definitely remember. Mr. Tucker, you have got a poll coming up where you're literally just under a month away from it. You're kind of starting to finish up those last-minute things. I think I saw a post today about extra safety precautions that you're going to take with your pool this year. You want to kind of talk on that and what all everybody needs to start doing to get ready for Shipshawana?
Yeah. Talked with my tech committee there. We have our meeting Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we had a tragic accident in Pennsylvania this summer, and trying to make some steps so that never happens again. There's been a lot of good input on what we should do, and we talked to a lot of the professional pulling groups, got some good advice. We were really looking forward to getting a specification on what exactly we should do, as a pulling world as a whole, as far as trying to keep the exhaust wheel inside the exhaust housing, not wandering through the turbo plumbing, and basically we deal with mostly single turbocharger classes, but we deal with a lot of smaller single turbocharger classes where the impeller is really turning way over 100,000 RPMs, and unfortunately that's what broke. And so our pull's kind of the king of single turbocharger, smaller turbocharger classes that we feel like we give a national platform for one weekend. And it was we are very blessed. We have a lot of people that give us great advice. We have my sister is a lawyer, and she's on our staff, and she gave us some guidance on what we needed to do to protect the pullers, protect the group putting the pull on, and the building and the sled guy, protect everybody from any kind of the word negligence and writing the rules. We hate as a group that we had to wait till the 1st of December to make this call. But unfortunately, the way the world works on certification of things didn't go quite as fast as we wanted them to. And we knew we had a couple guys in place that wanted to help us with this effort. I mean, there are products already out there that do the exact same thing that we are going to put in place. These guys agreed to help us build we call them a safety ring that will bolt into your exhaust pipe in front of your bolts that will keep the exhaust wheel hopefully where it's supposed to be. And the existing guys that had them out there, we've seen them. Those guys that have those aren't really part of our system. Yeah, their pieces will be adequate. So if you own that and you already have it on your vehicle, that will be perfect. The guys that we have in place to build new ones are for guys that don't have anything.
Are there guys that you're willing to say like they're okay? Because we've seen something from Wipeout, we've seen something from Apex Diesel in Pennsylvania. Yep. Any of those guys, like, are they good to go?
They're good to go. Okay. They are good to go.
Good.
Yep, they are good to go, and happy the guys already got them in place. Some guys have been proactive and went ahead and put them in, and that's great. The reason we did not put the Apex guy in Pennsylvania and Suncoast and all those guys on our websites, like get them from those guys, is we didn't feel like it was fair to the guys already building them to put up with the questions and have to be forced to answer it, and sometimes the harassment that Ryan and Matt are receiving on this additional piece of safety equipment. So we did not throw these guys under the bus and say, well, you got to get it from these two guys. If you already have them, and you can still go get them from those guys, that's fine. That's great. We're all doing the same thing. It's just that our guys are doing it specifically for this event, and we'll answer your questions, tell you how to put it in, help you through the whole process, which I'm in debt to these guys for doing that. I wouldn't expect anybody else to do it besides these guys. But if you got one on, or you got one from the ones that are already out there available, thumbs up. You did a great job. When we check your tractor at Shipshawana, we'll need to see that diamond or star, what do you want to call them, in your plumbing along with the bolts, and we should be good to go. It's not reinventing the wheel. A lot of guys have a lot of questions about it. Had a lot of good input today from Kevin Campbell. Can't thank Kevin enough for throwing us a bone with some reality. And yeah, we're good to go. I think this is a good thing. And we had to do something because just the bolts weren't going to be good enough for what we consider the biggest single turbo indoor pull. We just didn't think this DeBolts only was going to be good enough to satisfy our insurance and our liability. So
I agree with you 100%, Clint. Given what took place and what has happened and where we are, there is a mandate for this. It is something that is coming for the sport for 2024, and we're first out the gate with this for the new year, and so we've got to do something. We've got to be proactive about it, and quite frankly, looking at it, there's a lot of talk about what it's gonna be, but I come from the place where I sit there and go, you're willing to spend whatever it costs to improve your vehicle, but if there's something that's going to be safer and better for everybody involved for minimal expense, and all it means is you've got to do the equivalency of welding a kitchen strainer into your discharge pipe, and you can't handle that. You are 100% right, Clint. Like, we'll refund your money. No hard feelings. Have a nice day, and we're going to move on.
Yep, I think we dropped him there for a second while you were making that point, Charles. But yeah, I mean, safety is obviously the first priority for everyone involved, the drivers, the spectators. And I mean, we need to do a good job of that there at that pool. Do we have Mr. Tucker?
I'm sorry, guys. This might happen every now and then because the phone rings constantly, and every time somebody tries to call, it might kick me off for a second call. I will not answer it and try to get back quick as I can.
I can't imagine. So how are you feeling about entries overall with the classes and everything?
Entries are great, and we have got probably the best 4-1 class we ever have. Our light pro class is filling up great. Got some big hitters the last few days. Yeah, it's really good. Of course, the hot farms. I mean, that's amazing. How many of those guys that are so different in the rules will still come together? And I don't get one complaint out of any of them. not one. At least they're not brave enough to call me, but they might complain behind my back. But they don't complain. They're just happy to be there, and it's just a great overall deal. Thanks to a lot of good people, we got the light limited class up to where we wanted it, and that's going to be a good show. Super farms are great. Everybody has just been really good to deal with, and we're really excited.
Yeah, some of the names I've seen pop up. I mean, I looked on Sunday. I mean, I check it at least once a day just to see who's entered. And I saw Adam Diaz with Whiskey Business.
Yeah.
Making his return to the track for the first time in a year, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
He's been working. I was almost
Yes,
teasing
he
him
has.
whenever he remembered how to do this. But yeah, him and Jeff are going to be coming out, and we'll have both those beautiful hard running tractors back in our building, which we're really happy they're there, and they kind of raised the bar, and
Yeah,
glad they're coming.
yeah, we're all very, very excited. How's the 5.0s looking? Are we going to get any more, or do you think that's
Well,
just going to become set?
I think.
Uh-oh.
Oh, cliffhanger.
Jeopardy song in case.
Illinois, man, I'm telling you.
I got a text asking about with this rule too. Why is nobody talking about the thickness or increasing the thickness of the wall on the exhaust pipe? I don't know, Charles. Can you speak on something like that?
It's never been spec'd before, so to mine, shoot, I may be talking out of turn. I might have to go upstairs and get my rule book. I don't know if that's ever been spec'd.
It's still showing the Klint's here,
It
but for some reason we
it
hear
doesn't-
nothing.
And I would say that it maybe doesn't matter because there's no direct correlation between thickness and strength because depending on how you make the pipe, the thicker it is, the more shatterable it can be. That's way too simplistic to just say,
Yeah.
oh, well, thicker makes it safer. No.
Yeah. Hopefully, I think we lost Clint again. Hopefully he jumps back on.
You know what? If you guys will permit, I'll go grab my book and see if there's a spec on that. I'll be back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll talk to Zane in the meantime. Yep. Zane, buddy. Welcome into the Motorsports Almanac. How are you?
Good.
Yep. We appreciate you joining us. Talk to us what's been going on with you in the off season.
Not too much. Got done with harvest here. Probably it's been, I'd say 3 weeks or so now, 4 weeks.
Hang on one second, Zane. We'll get back to you. I want to
Yeah.
get
I'm still here. Another phone call. I got rid of him real quick.
good grief.
You
Yeah.
need a second phone, Clint. You need a second phone.
Yeah. He might already have two, though. That's the thing.
I know I don't have a bat phone. I just got the one.
Oh man, but we were talking about the 5.0 class and how that's coming on.
Yeah.
It looks like the entries are going to be really good for the first year, especially.
Sure. And there's a couple more guys I need to harass. See what they're doing as we lead up to it. We also we're trying to get 5 or 6, maybe 8 Pro Stock or 4.1 limited Pro Stock semis to come in and finish the night out. And
Oh,
on Saturday
yeah.
night. So that'll liven up the place a little bit. So if
Yeah,
you're-
I think that's
you're
going to be really, really cool.
if you're in the semi pulling, we're trying to work through the process of getting something that big in and warmed up and on the track, which might be a little bit of a struggle, but we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, if I know you well enough, you'll have a game plan by then.
But yeah, everything's really good. I mean, hotels are really full. We picked up a new hotel sponsor. If a guy's looking for a hotel room, I haven't got one. The Courtyard and Elkhart has reached out and has like a puller fan package put together for you. So I think most of the ones in Shipshewana are full, but they reached out. Thanks to them, it's not that much of a drive, but
About 30 minutes, I think, is what I saw.
yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, better than sleeping outside in your car.
Yeah.
Hey, Clint. You got kicked off at the time, but I asked a question as a generic or basic question across Charles and when you were on, but somebody asked why there isn't like talked about increasing the thickness of the wall of the exhaust pipe, saying that there'd be like a minimum thickness and a certain type of metal used, and because
that is probably coming, and absolutely that probably needs done. Will the pulling groups get together on a spec, schedule 10, schedule 20? But I would say as the turbochargers get bigger, you probably need to start looking into that. I can't mandate that, as a one event a year guy, but I think that's coming in all three of the large groups, especially with the big turbos and the bigger wheels and all that stuff. But yeah, we probably as pullers need to stop making our exhaust systems out of muffler pipe and a little bit better stuff, and that's absolutely a great question, and it needs to happen. But I'm having a whale of a struggle getting them to buy a $150 ring to put behind their exhaust wheel, let alone a big piece of Schedule 20, and then start all over. So I can about imagine the crucifixion I would get over that. But we'll let the big guys deal with that, and hopefully that'll all work out.
Just wait, Clint. There's some smart guys who are gonna come up with something that are gonna be SFI legal. It'll be a weld-in ring that is a turbine matched thing to work as like the fixed part of a jet gas turbine, and it will actually make more horsepower than anything else would have if it wasn't there. And then all of a sudden now everybody's going to love the new safety regulation, even though it now costs them like a new $6,000 turbocharger to get one instead of a $150 ring to save their grandkids. So you just wait for that, and you heard it here first.
Yeah. Well, I was laughing with the boys before the show started. I wanted to find the picture of the turbocharger encasement that the guys over in Europe run and put that on there. It's like, well, we could be doing this,
Yeah.
and
No kidding.
Let everybody mull that over. And that's what those guys put up with day to day.
that might stir more shit up than light limited super rolls.
No, that's got a 20-year history of shit stirring.
Oh, we're gonna do that later on. Don't worry.
Yeah. The text I got also said he's saying the cheating will fall within people manipulating the retainer size ? Shaving the retainer down to increase flow. Testing has already occurred on a lot of different types of tractors. The tractors that run higher RPMs.
I can answer that one for Clint. You haven't met our tech inspectors, have you, motherfucker?
Yeah. They will look at the rings, and if they look like they are been whittled down to where they're the size of a postage stamp, probably won't be legal. We will have some on staff, and I hope this guy's still there. There's a little nice Amish man named Ira, and you'll meet Ira, and he'll cut out the ring you brought that's terrible, and then you'll get one that we have there, and you'll have to pay Ira to weld it back in for you before you can compete. So yeah, we have that plan already, and I've already told Travis that we'll probably need some welding help, and I forgot to ask if Ira's still there, but I next time I talk to Travis, I will. Ira's done a lot of welding for us there on different things.
Yeah. Yep. So now tickets are pre-sale tickets are up, aren't they?
Yeah, pre-sale tickets are high as it's ever been. We increased our box seats by 6 more on the starting line. Most of them are gone. The line hasn't been put on sale yet, but I think that's coming. But yeah, ticket sales are better than we've ever seen, and there's gonna be a lot of people there. And fans don't care about turbo rings; they just care about all the tractors we got entered, and we're really proud we got that many, and looking forward to having a great show with them.
Yeah, it will be a great show as always. We have a comment here from Mr. Robert Danner. He said ballistic blankets for covers for all classes with a question mark at the end of it.
I've had that question a lot over the last couple of days, and what I'm kind of being neutral on it. If you can get your hands on one, I'd get them on the compressor covers.
If you need help, if you need to know where to get one, I'll send you the links. There's plenty of guys with them in stock. Please.
Yeah, I would go ahead and get those on. For one, the tractor that he's talking about has got the prettiest hood ever. That's our charity toy. But the guys running the Pro Pulling League for 2024 got to have one anyway. So, you might as well just go ahead and get it put on. And, the guys pulling in the other groups, I can't speak for them, but if I had a nice hooded tractor, nice pretty paint job, I would go ahead and get one, get it put on. Will we mandate it? Probably not. We have not had that in our rules yet, but I just encourage everybody to get them on.
Yeah. I know that all local associations around here in Eastern Iowa did it. ECI, I think Tri-State's got it too.
Sure.
Yeah, you mentioned the toy that you're going to be raffling off. You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, we're doing a checking out tractor of Ryan Anderson's. He lost his father to leukemia last year. He got his tractor in the finals and turned the wheel over to his one of his mechanics and helpers. I don't think Danner can fit in the fire suit. I don't think this year. Kind of teased him a little bit, but but the other guy drove it and did a well job. Won the show, and so we chose Ryan, and Ryan told us to reach out to Adam Drought, and we have. And him and Charles, I think, got a good program together. We'll talk about that a lot in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a week or so out. Unfortunately, we were going to do that tomorrow, but yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool whenever you guys do that.
We're going to get the tractor tickets for sale on our website. I ate lunch with Nick McCormick today, and I think him and they're going to do a little TikTok. Him and Growing Corn 2020. Tony Reed to support our effort. I don't know how much beer that's going to cost me, but it'll be dearly. But those guys can really motivate people to buy charity tickets, and they are the best at it. And they're both really good guys. And so yeah, we'll get that going. And Charles and Adam are going to find the two hospitals. We will separate the money and send to. I was watching the Jimmy V basketball games last night, and thinking to myself, well, there's one right there. We could send some to them too. It was a great night of basketball last night with the Jimmy V Foundation, and 100% of that stuff goes to cancer research. But I'm putting Charles. He's my lead announcer and a great announcer. I'm putting him and Adam kind of in the driver's seat of that. You tell me what to do, and we'll do it.
Hey, if you want to donate to another hospital, there's a really cool children's hospital in Iowa City. Know all about that one.
Yeah. Well,
we got something tomorrow. We got something tomorrow night on the show that we're going to discuss, and we're going to get some input from somebody. I'm not going to spoil it tonight. And Adam's a part of that. I'm Drought, and if you know his story, like, he's a cancer survivor, right? And he's a buddy, and we respect him. But there's somebody who is a little bit closer to Midwest Winter Nationals on the dirt side that we really want to get some input from, and so we'll just leave that for tomorrow.
Sure, absolutely.
Justin Stuckenschneider left a comment too. He said, I should have a complete updated 1/16 replica done by the end of this week.
Sure.
Justin's watching. And then Danner, he comes in again and says, thank you for this, Tucker and company, checking it out. We'll be running hard that weekend, working on the tractor now. And we know when they show up, they mean business.
Yeah, they do. They do. He won't be very happy if he's not on top of the podium.
No. Well, Mr. Tucker, we certainly appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to add in, or are you going to hang around for all the other fun stuff we're going to get into?
Yeah, I can hang out and just be quiet.
No, you can't.
That's not going to happen. Sorry.
He might not. Never get into some of these some of the topics that we've discussed. Yep.
But
Well, one.
I want to thank you guys for having me on. I know you're kind of the new young guns that do these podcasts, and they're all important to get information out. And really appreciate you guys.
Well, Mr. Tucker, we certainly appreciate that, man. Hopefully, I will see you up there. I certainly plan on it as long as nothing comes up between now and then.
Absolutely.
Certainly appreciate it. Mr. Zane Daly.
Well, we already introduced you.
We were kind of talking, then we got internet connection back. You still doing good over there, my friend?
Oh yeah, we're doing good, slowing down, so that's always a plus.
Is it snowing up there right now?
Not at the moment.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I think the big question that I wanted to ask you was have you seen anything in the mail yet?
There's nothing going to be coming in the mail, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to have our stuff back together, so we opted out.
Oh, man, that's unfortunate. That is so unfortunate. But,
And,
I know you and Wyatt been talking. You know the stuff we have on our docket to talk about. You said you would love to bring in your input. I mean, we'd love doing – we've never done this type of thing. But I say we just jump right into it, fellas.
All right, hold on. This is one topic that me and him discussed. Can we talk about the schedules first?
I mean, if we want to lead off with that, we can, yeah.
I know Zane doesn't like with the one-day hook he's got. What the hell did you take over from here?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying and everything, and I know where that hook is, and it's a different group from what I've been told because, I mean, I have a couple of friends that live right there in that area. They said it's a new group, and they just want to do something simple to start out with.
Hold on. You guys are talking like you're the smartest guys in the room. What the hell are you talking about?
Let's backtrack.
Well, there's a one-day hook in, I think it's July the 12th in Fairfield, Illinois.
Backtrack even more. Okay. All the banquets have pretty much happened. All the banquets pretty much happened.
What are you pulling there?
PPL has banquets happen, NTPA, Badger State.
What'd you say, Mr. Tucker?
Fairfield, Illinois can be a very, very good track if it's prepared correctly. In the year 2012, my brother went down ahead of me. I was at Freeport, Illinois, the 2 nights before that, and did tracks up there. Then my brother, he went down to Fairfield and worked with Niall Bunnage and his 2 sons and poured the water to that thing. We hadn't had any rain, since April. And we had 27 PPL Pro Sox that night. And I think of the 27, like 6 of them spun out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hager got a hold of them and put them on their knees. And, that's back when Borson had a bunch of them. And of course, the little master of track reading, Brad, they just kept finding lower and lower gears. And, the guys at the end finally found low enough gears and winning the show. But Fairfield's track can be really good if you just add water. And add water for a while, pack her down, and make her good. So, yeah.
And then water it some more.
Then water it some more because it's southern Illinois, poor, white dirt that we barely can raise corn on. But it can be good. And it's a nice facility. Kind of tricky getting in with the semi because it's a horse track around it. Great pit area. It's only about 45 minutes from my house. But
yeah.
Didn't know they were going to have a pool. They had an ITPA pool 2 years ago, had nothing last year. So who's scheduled there this year? I'm kind of curious.
NTPA, actually. They're bringing in 2 Grand National classes. Then they're going to bring in Pro National Limited Pros.
Yeah, is it Region 2 or is it Region?
I don't know what the Pro National means.
Region 2.
That would
Region
be 2,
2?
Yeah.
Well, that's a jaunt for those guys to go clear over there.
Yeah, for just one day especially.
Sure.
It's on Friday, I think. I don't even think it's on Saturday. Oh, yeah, it'd be like Chapel Hill hot.
Well, and hell, for the guy on the screen here, it's what is it, Zane, for you? 7 hours, 8 hours one day down there?
When I looked it up, it was 7.5 hours one way from, well, I'd be from where we'll be at, because our NTPA does a Region 3 hook in Decorah, which is about 15 minutes from me. So we'll go to that the night before and then drive 7.5 hours for one hook.
Yeah, but Zane, let me ask you this, and it is in no way a slight in the Open Superstock group, but I mean, I just remember, like, I think you guys had what, 4 hooks out of the whole season, and it was in Toma, or it was either Rockwell or Toma or Bowling Green, maybe all 3. Don't you guys want a few more on the Grand National side?
Oh yeah, love to have more on the Grand National side, which I'm not. Like I said, I'm not complaining that much about it. It just kind of sucks to be a one hook shows, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely fair for the distance you're going. But, I mean, I haven't seen anything on the PPL schedule at all.
Well, it's kind of a project in motion. She's been working on a lot of the Champions Tour stuff, just getting classes kind of positioned. I've seen a little bit of it. It looks good.
Any new places?
Yeah, they're going to Shipshewana.
Oh, I've been hearing about. That's the one I've been hearing about.
Yep.
Okay.
Super Farms, Pro Stocks, Super Stock Diesel Trucks, and semis on Travis's track outside. Should be pretty interesting.
Are they going to have it in the parking lot, or are they going to a different
Yes, sir.
facility?
Parking
It's
lot.
in the parking lot.
Oh, wow. I bet that'll be fun to watch.
You talk to Larry Richwine and Richard Crowell. Our track's pretty meat inside, and Travis can actually make it a little meaner outside.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
Can
It
confirm.
should be a pretty cool thing. And I think, Charles, you might know more about it than I do. Is it like some kind of a semi-show and shine, and maybe a semi-show there?
They do. There's a show and shine that goes on up there. I'm not super. You put me on the spot, but I'm not super knowledgeable about it. But yeah, they do a show and shine deal that's important to Northeast Indiana, and it's a thing, and I'm all about it. And I don't know, like I've got no involvement with it. I don't think it's going to work with my schedule, but it's cool.
I can already name at least one pro stock that will be there. I'll just throw that out there now.
I think he might have some of the interest in it, and the thumping punkin buddy, my buddy Shane. I think he's kind of the head of it.
There's some guy who makes some pretty badass popcorn who might want to be a part of that.
I still haven't had a chance to try that. As many times as I've been around the guy, I haven't ever had a chance.
Well, Shane, you're probably a young guy, but you need to go to your local Rural King, Farm and Fleet, whatever you got down there in Kentucky, and get you the old man popcorn popper, and then get you one of those bags. So that's what me and my son eat when we watch football on Sundays. Is we eat Yoder white and the little yellow popcorn, and there's none better.
That's awesome.
Piss on that microwave crap. That's for Democrats and communists.
That was awesome.
And you're damn right.
Wow. Yeah,
Yoder going on, and that's I forget to give him the heads up. When you come to Shipshewana, make sure you go by his place. Go look at all the burnout marks that the kids did during the summer and laugh, and then go inside. You got a nice place to eat, a lunch.
No, they cleaned that up. The community cleaned that up. The community did better. They did a +1 for bettering you assholes who did all that bullshit in their parking lot. They bested you, so don't ever do it again.
Yeah, but yeah, go in and get some popcorn off him. I got so much in the last time I ordered. I think his wife even threw a free couple T-shirts in. So we ordered by the gross. Yeah, good popcorn. Gross is good too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a couple of comments roll in here. Doesn't Grand National commitment mean you're willing to put on the miles? I mean, yeah, but for one day, it's just you are, but the one day is really hurt, especially with it being on a Friday, because you're still not even out of the work week at that point, which is completely fair.
You get to tour the entire beautiful state of Illinois. You get to look at the black dirt corn, and then you go down here to as poor people live, and our corn looks terrible. You get to see all of it one day.
Yeah.
Pick a fence your water towers, and
Yeah, and
Yeah.
elevators and corn.
We have another comment from Mr. Jeremy. He said, I'd rather see one hook shows with higher purses. That's how it used to be. Toma, all the classics hooked ones, but purses were higher than what we get today. I mean, it's true.
That's a long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Another,
Lives better.
yeah.
Grand
Another-
National Champions this year got $8,000, and in the 1980s, second place paid $11,000 plus.
Oh, wow.
It's better now. It's better now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look back in
back in the 80s,
2003.
back in the 80s, Charles and I can testify this. Guys would show up and take 3 motors off, put 2 motors, one more motor on, maybe 2.
Mhm.
The mod guys, they worked all weekend.
2,000 pounds on, 2,000 pounds off, 4,000 pounds on. You found where your stuff worked, and you did it by weight, not by. I'm going to foreshadow the rest of the program here. Sorry, Shane. Sorry, Wyatt. You did it by weight, and you found your spot versus you found your sandbox.
Right?
Yeah. Clint, my
Bingo.
brother's watching. He said that's nothing compared to the 3-day trek we used to make between LaGrange, Indiana, up to New Hampton, Iowa, and then back down to Jerseyville.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
This may be
That was
biased.
a loop.
This may be
Yes, sir.
biased, but New Hampton needs a 2-day hook again, and it will test your limits like Farley. I swear on a Bible.
Yeah, New Hampton's got an amazing track. I hated that. I actually talked to Jim Eckenrod a little bit in the infancy of the PPO Western Series, and we just never could quite get in there. But man, that the few times I was there, that track is it is Farley mean, and it's Rockwell mean too. When Rockwell has enough water on it.
The guys who went out to New Hampshire, Vermont, and St. Hyacinth, Quebec said, "Uh-huh."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, so that was another topic I thought of on the drive over here to the shop where I'm at. The modified rules and how different they are between Europe and here. What do we have to do to see engine combinations like that? And I know we will never see like the Russian tank engines and things like that, but just to open up the turbines and even the Allison aircraft engines to be able to run with these blowers.
Well, I think, like Dave Hager said, what it is in a nutshell is their mods are a lot heavier than ours. I think they're 4.2 kilotons, so do your math. They use a lot of them use bigger rear ends, and that takes the beating a little bit better. Our problem is our 4 Hemi mods have more horsepower now than the 7 Chevys or whatever the hell we were doing, 30 years ago. Probably a 3 engine's got more horsepower than that. So when you get them on a good track and you get a good sled like Vaughn or Brandon Bungart behind them, and they put them in a twist, it just destroys the rear ends. That's our weak link. Getting them hooked up and getting them going can be done, but I've talked to sled guys a lot about the Unlimiteds and the super semis, and they get locked in. And of course, we might drink a few adult beverages and come up with some really bad ideas, but probably the only thing that I know of is we're going to have to make 4,000-pound weights and put them in the front of the boxes and sliding into the cab and have them on the pan, which is going to cripple their ground speed. I mean, these sleds will get them stopped, but the show, it won't be that great. And they got those Hemis got so much power now. The rear ends are the limiting factor.
That's interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Zane, jump in here.
What's that?
Jump in here.
What do you want me to talk about?
Yes.
All of it. Anything.
All
Doesn't
of
matter.
Yeah.
You give me a topic.
All right. 5.0 Pro
Zane,
stock.
I'm
No,
just
no.
excited.
No. We
No.
kind of cut off on the schedule thing. It's nothing against the Fairfield thing that we asked you earlier, Zane. would you rather see it as a 2-day hook, plain simple?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. I mean, I think if you asked, a majority of the pullers, I think they're going to tell you they'd much rather go to a 2-day hook over a 1-day hook. And like I said before, I'm not complaining because we're getting another hook and we want more hooks, but it'd be nice to get more 2-day hooks.
Yeah.
I can attest to this. You guys, every super class in NTPA has more hooks than super farms. Thank you, NTPA.
Zane, let me ask you this: is that Fairfield hook your only single day deal you got? Is everything else too?
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Yeah, because you guys had a really great schedule last year. I've seen it, and I'm good friends with Cheezick and those guys, and I seen that was kind of your guys' schedule, and it looked really good. I mean, getting you guys one spot kind of helped the numbers, and but it is kind of weird that they're dragging you to Fairfield for 1 day, but it's so close to my house, I had no clue about it. That's how oblivious I am to what my surroundings are.
Well, I mean, I don't think the schedule's come out yet. I think that's just what we know from last weekend, right?
Well, that's okay. There's the draft schedule that shows something that's really close to my hometown too. That's not going to appear in the actual
There's a hell
schedule.
of a taco joint right down the road from it too.
Yeah. But Wyatt, I want to get into this 5.0 Pro Stock class because, Charles, in the past, whenever I was a young lad, the 4.1 Limited Pro Stock class came out and was coming around the Mid-South Tour. It got about the same response that the 5.0s have. But I feel like the 5.0 class is its own exception because of what it's actually going to accomplish. And I think you're going to see the numbers in it grow drastically pretty quick.
Well, you would hope. But Shane, you grew up Mid-South. I grew up ITPA. What happened in the Pro Stock classes, our Pro Stock guys got so good, they run them so hard that they couldn't run them. They couldn't run them week to week on a state level, and they went to the ATPA, NTPA, then PPO and TPA. They had to save them. Then our numbers suffered. I remember in the late '90s going to Hopkinsville and having 18 Pro Stocks there.
Oh yeah.
And
Mid-South used to have one of the best state level organization Pro Stock groups that there were. And the guys that would come down that became household names on the PPL and NCPA circuits, like your Mastersons, your Parrish, Wishmeyer, Typin, Boyd's, just to name a few off the top of my head.
The Foltz boys, they had the case.
Yeah, it's still sitting up the road in the barn, actually. I was wondering.
Absolutely.
I would love to see that thing come back out.
All the time.
Yeah. But I really think this 5.0 class is going to be good for the sport as a whole, because I think you're going to see some tractors come back out that went away. And I think you're going to see some guys go down to it because of the rules that are put on the 5.0 aspect of it.
Well, I just hope that Kenny and Chris make Inman and Barney get their tractors out. They still got them.
I know.
Truck motors in them.
I've been talking to Inman.
They're beautiful tractors.
Yeah, there's another gentleman down here too, Klint, that you'd know that if I told you he was thinking about coming back for that class, you'd be pretty excited about that too. But Charles, what are your thoughts on it? I remember first kind of reactions.
Yeah, I do. And I've always been a guy who's been really against a lot of the fragmentation that has gone on in the sport, and I'm not really behind it. And it's sort of we alluded to that here in the prior conversation, the weight jumping and the things that used to happen, and you find the spot where it suits you. And I think that was better. And I still I do really genuinely, not sort of, I want to be really clear about this. I really do genuinely hew to that idea that there were some specifications that worked, and we offered you 2, 3, 4 different weight breaks, and you found what worked for your chassis, and you fit within that. And now we're sort of in this era where instead of chasing weight where you can take that in, you can take that off. Everybody can do it. Everyone can lift 2,000 pounds and by 100 pounds at a time and take it in, take it off. Now we've gone to this idea of fragmentation, and so now we've got left with something where it's like we're going to just legislate everything to the nth degree. And my next idea is going to be, super light, sorta, mida, pro farm, hot stockish on Tuesday with nitrous. I'm going to just create this. I'm going to create this sandbox where my stuff is legal and yours isn't, and I'm going to play in this. Instead of I take weight off, I take weight on, I figure out if I can beat your ass or I can't. Instead, instead of legislating against you with muscle, I'm going to beat your ass with a pencil. And I really don't like it. I really don't.
Well, if you look at it, Charles, the names have all changed, but what we're doing is exactly the same.
Yeah.
We grew up 5, 7, 9, and 12 supers, 5, 7, 9, or 5, 7, 9, and the unlimiteds. Now it's the 5 is the light limited class, the 7 is the light pro stock class, the 9 is the 4-1 class, and the 12 is the 5-0 or the big boy pros. I mean, that's what it is.
Yep.
The super stock class has went so much horsepower with the multi-turbo alcohol tractors, the multi-turbo diesel tractors. If we went back to old school 1978 rules, we would start out with 12 of them or maybe 15 of them on Friday afternoon session. We wouldn't have any of them left for Saturday night. They'd all be broke.
You're right.
Because they run them so hard.
So here's where my epiphany comes in. Here's where the epiphany is. Going back to Shane, to your original question, 5.0 Pro. Here's where the epiphany comes in. This is going to bring tractors that aren't going to see anything other than dust on their hoods in a shop come out to state level, regional level, places where they didn't exist, and they're going to run. And we're going to get to see names that we know, that we understand, that we have an appreciation for, and they're going to be a part of the sport and continue it forward. This is not a knock on Unlimited Pro. That's awesome. But there's a level below you where somebody needs to exist as a stepping stone to you. And I didn't like it at first. I was vehemently against it at first, but I started to understand what it meant to get some of these tractors out of the barn and get some of these drivers back in a roll cage again. And I'm really in favor of 5.0 being a thing on the regional level. I think it's going to be a very, very good thing to revive pro stock in a place. I'll use my own geographic understanding, my own geographic bias. Here in Michigan, pro was a big deal a long time ago. It's not anymore. There's nobody fucking up here anymore. If 5.0 brings it back and gets these guys off the couch and gets tractors out there where you got 6, 7, 8 of them again, I can't stand in the way of that on good conscience. I just can't. People need to see that, and I'm good with it.
Michigan used to have some of the stoutest red pro stocks in the world. Harmon, Clock, Rapp, all those guys,
Yeah.
Of course, we always make fun of Jeff and Roger, with the Massey, but now they got the Deers,
and they've got the Massey back again. I mean, like that could be something again. So
man, they get a 5.0 on that and get some real excitement in their life.
You 100% bet.
Which one is this?
The Storm. I'll call him Michael. We'll make that fucking happen.
Is it bad? I'm not sure who you're talking about. Was that before my time type of thing?
You weren't even born yet, so yes.
Yeah.
All three of us besides Charles and Klint weren't born.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That thing used to come to that thing originated up in Wisconsin.
Yes, it
And
did.
we go to Toma, and that thing would had RPMs like we'd never even heard of. They'd go down a track and die.
Go to the
it
side.
was
Bleh.
Go
it
to the
was
sidetrack
awesome.
page. Go to the sidetrack page yesterday. I had video of them having some wild stuff happen at Monroe. Got weighted down to 8,000 pounds in super stock, and for both drivers, for both Jeff and Roger, the thing went ape in the exact same way with both of them in the seat. And it's like, all right, it ain't the driver, it's the tractor.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I watched that clip yesterday. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
See, now, this is right here is what I'm talking about with the classes. The Too Hot to Farm, the Hot Farm, the Pro Farm, Classic, Super. I'll be honest, it's not a slight against anybody.
Yes, Jeremy. Yes, Jeremy. How many freaking adjectives do we have to apply on something?
How many classic? What is the classic super stock? I
Classic
genuinely don't know.
You'll find out in March in the same building that we're going to be in.
Yeah, it's
Whatever that is.
It's 530 cubic inches. I think they got like a 2.8 inlet on a little billet turbo, and I think they make them run a P3000 pump. This started out as a Central Ohio tractor puller group class.
Yep.
And it kind of drifted. It drifted east, and Carlton Cope works on a ton of them. They're cute. They used to be a part of our Winter Nationals program.
Oh, really?
When we made the switch from Gordyville to Ship, I reached out, and of course the Rose family has the D21s that are all beautiful, and Matt Spillman and his family they probably would have come, but you know, the rest of them kind of have a hard time getting west of Columbus, and I understand that. In the wintertime, I fully understand that. So they've never been a part of the Midwest Internationals, but they're coming to Ship this year. They're replacing the Hot Farms. Hopefully, everybody buys a ticket and enjoys all the Hot Farm activity they can stand here in January. Come March, you're going to see
that class has the OG of OGs of doing this. What we're doing tonight with presenting a show. Gary Gallimore was the first. And he's still in class of Superstock. He was the guy that started the pulling, and that predates Mr. Swank, that predates Pulling Radio Network, Beer Money Pulling Team. What Sidetrack did, everybody. He's the OG.
Yep. Yeah. Gary, I think, was the announcer to the Cal Super Bowl when I went out there and videoed for them people that actually motivated me to do indoor pulling at the level we do it at. And that would have been in early 2000s. I lived in the Quad Cities and pulled Super Farm. We went to the Cal Super Bowl in Columbus, and they had classic supers there.
Okay.
And they had narrow front ends and stuff on.
I really didn't know that. Like I genuinely hadn't heard of them until a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
whenever
like
they became regional.
Joe Cronkleton and a lot of 40-20s with narrow front ends with 18.4s on, double cuts, pipes on. It was neat.
The NA stuff that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you go down the list here again: Limited Pro, Light Pro, 5.0 Pro, Big Pro. I mean, he's not wrong.
They all have the same horsepower as the old classes. The names have just changed.
Right.
It's just changed. The names, the horsepower level's still there. It's just changed.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll tell you another thing too that I've kind of noticed is certain organizations having the same class as another organization. The first one that pops into my mind, Clint, you know this, with the 85 Limited Pros being up there in Illinois and the ITPA. They're down here in Kentucky, but they're just classified underneath a different name. They're called Light Limited Pros, but they are essentially 85 Limited Pro stock.
Sure. Well, the thing with the Battle of Bluegrass is their turbocharger rules just a little bit different. They allow map ring turbos, and we are smoothbore because tech guys like me when you're talking about map rings, it just makes us drink even more.
Like
But,
limited.
And they call them light limited. They used to be called limited pros. Me and Kevin folks talked about that a little bit, but Kevin goes, they know him as that. So and that class is growing. He's got that class growing because Kevin has a huge schedule about bluegrass. He needs more tractors and more classes to satisfy all his promoters. But yeah, the 85 Limited Pro in Illinois is the class that destroyed Super Farm.
Yeah.
As a former ITPA Super Farm puller, we couldn't keep our numbers up enough. The guys that sustained the transition went 4-1, and then the young guys developed from the 9,000 farm stock class into the 85 Limited Pro. And it's a really good class for the budget. And to the untrained eye in the stands, there's a lot of them. There's different colors. It's a really good class because it's either watch skinny, tired pro farm, hot farm stock looking classes, or look at these. They look like a pro stock. They make a little quieter sound, but there's a lot of them. And they're a really good class. We use them a lot in Missouri. Outlaw has them. They are kind of the not an opening act, but a good start of the night. And they're 1,500 horsepower tractors, and they do a good job.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know if that was where they had kind of killed off the Super Farm, like you said, in the ITPA. I kind of thought so, but I didn't know so.
Yeah, they did, because you don't have to have a billet crank. 466 cubic inches kind of controls that. It's a more affordable way to get to 1,500 horse than a Super Farm. It just is. And in Illinois, in Missouri, in most of Iowa, it's took the place of Super Farm. And then that's happened in the last 20 years, because the whole reason we started the Midwest Internationals is because myself and about 300 of my closest buddies had Super Farms, and we couldn't get in Louisville because there was only 12 tractors allowed to go down there, or 15, I think, at the time, that Mike and Denny would allow. So, you can do the math. There's 300 of us, and only 15 get to go. There's 285 of us wanting to do something in the winter. That's how the Midwest Internationals actually started.
Okay, genuine question, and this comes based upon the 85 Limited Pro class. What was the thought? And I never knew the answer. What's the thought process of it not being hot farm, whereas you go to 20.8s and it keeps the 24.5s? Because that up here in Badger State, there's a million hot farms, and they schedule more because they look different than Super Farm 4-1 Limited Pro stock.
Sure.
Because of the skinny tire.
Sure. And there has been discussion of taking the 9,500 hot farm up there, lightening them up, putting 24.5 tires, and matching, the rules in ECI and the rules just south of them in the ITPA. And the Badger State upper echelon has told them, no, we want to make you look something different, because their big pro farm class, which was kind of, one of the cooler things Badger State had, kind of has dwindled now. I mean, it's not what it was 10 years ago, or even 15 years ago. It's not that. It's a smaller group of tractors, but in Badger State they have the nice rules for the 9,500 hot farm. That the Tri-State group has it. The tractor pullers over there in Minnesota have it. I think even WTP up north is adopted the class. They call them pro farms, which really confuses everybody. But it's a good group of tractors up there, and they fit a niche that a lot of groups need, because the tractors have numbers, and they make sense, even though they still run a 3x3 turbo. That's very frustrating, and we all know about that as Super Farm pullers currently and former Super Farm pullers. But it's a good restrictor plate class. A young guy can afford it. You don't have to mortgage the farm to pull in that class. Is it competitive? Absolutely. but that class is great for that area. If I went to the ITPA banquet this weekend and mentioned doing it, they'd tar and feather me, light me on fire, and run me out the door.
All right. I had to ask the question because
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was just something for ITPA's sake and then it adopted here in ECI, or it would just be different, or what.
Yeah, it never really flew in the ECI that way, did it?
No.
It's a tri-state thing and a Badger State thing.
Well, and I think too is ECI, like Tim Vorwald taking in consideration here, the intercooler on 466 with 3,000 RPMs. I don't know if that could just be me. I think that's where it killed it right there.
Tim Vorwald's tractor would mop every 85 Lunar Pro we got in the world.
Well, he's currently mopping every hot farm in ECI right now.
Exactly.
Did he jump up the hot farm completely?
No, he's still, because ECI hasn't changed any rules.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting at the Midwest Internationals. Tim's just not I don't think, going to be able to bring his tractor over here, but we were going to let Tim, and there is a couple tractors entered that are the same rules.
Mike Dixon's one of them.
Yeah. Now, as I see, that's not Mike's herd board. That's the other one. It's the one they bought in Southern Illinois. That's actually in the hot farm class. It's not the one that's intercooled and really super mean. This is the other one that Hale drives that they got entered.
Yeah.
They didn't enter Mike's, but those intercooled, big slotted 3x4 turboed pro farms we call 10,000 pound pro farm. Illinois ITPA calls them 9,500 pro farm, and then
it's 10,000 hot farm down here.
Yeah. But those guys with the intercoolers and those big 3x4 turbos, they have 200 to 300 more horsepower than our 85 Limited Pros on a smaller set of tires. And to build them right, you're talking about billet cranks, billet rods. That's an expensive ride.
Yep. I think it's on TNT. I don't think they allow the intercoolers down here.
No, TNT and Val Bluegrass don't allow intercoolers. That they allow the billet turbos. My pro farm class I have out in Missouri, and a lot of the Missouri groups have it. We are limited to a stock GT42 turbocharger, and we worked a lot on that. And there's a lot of tractors involved in that, and that caps them about 12 to 1,300 horse. Good class. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do some drinking and thinking as we go forward, because we can't get the brand new GT42 turbos anymore. So we're going to have to cross that bridge probably starting this weekend at our meeting of what we're going to do in the future. I think we got enough turbochargers right now to keep everybody alive, but for the bang for the buck, that's the smartest pro farm class in the world. Not because I made it, because I just kind of followed along with it. But yeah, I mean, you got to kind of keep things in perspective. You know, you don't want your hot farm and your pro farm tractors costing more than a Limited Pro, but unfortunately, we've done that.
Yeah.
With billet turbos and ice and big 16 millimeter P pumps.
I mean, do we want to get into for the next discussion point? Do we want to get into the light limited super stock weight, or do we want to leave that one alone?
Well, that's fine. I mean, the discussion on the weight is never going to end. And,
no.
You know, I got to see you down at E-Town. I went down there to show corn with, I always call him Brother Billy and Brother Jerry.
Yeah.
Shelled the best corn I ever shelled in the state in Kentucky ever that day, but got to go enjoy a nice tractor pull too. And I got to watch the light limiteds that night on a really good track. Really good.
Yeah, that track that night at Elizabethtown, I saw you there. That was a really, really good track all night long, and it was consistent.
I wish we'd had about 12 big boy pros there that night. That'd have been kind of
Yeah.
interesting to see how Bo would have played with those. But anyway, I was standing over there behind you, and there you were videoing there with your girlfriend, and a bunch of them started gathering around me. And of course, You know, the Sons of the Commonwealth do not like to weigh 6250. And
No, they do not.
They do not. And there was, you watched those passes that night, Shane. There was a couple of passes kind of got pretty aggressive. A little buddy, Brent with the John Deere was aggressive.
Yeah.
I got hurt, but it was aggressive. And they all started, you know, Jerry and Steve Dye and a bunch of guys kind of got around me there, and we were visiting. And I explained myself that, you know, I don't care what you guys want to weigh outside. And with all the fits, the Stodon pull-off and Facebook, I don't think anybody else cares either. You know, if you guys want to weigh 5,000 pounds or 5,500 pounds and go out here and wreck, roll over and tear all your stuff up,
please no.
I don't think anybody cares. You know, if you guys are daring enough, go right ahead.
And I mean, it was really that night that I really saw that 6,000 was not a good weight for that class, especially on that track, because that was the first time my girlfriend had been to a pull and was actually on the track as much as we were that night. I didn't want her going out there in the center after a couple of them that I saw get kind of wild to video, because, I mean, just for safety's sake, I mean, they were getting squirrely majority of the night on that track.
Right. And Shane, I agree with you. And once again, as a business person and scared of my own shadow, like I always am, I explained to him that up at Shipshewana last year we got by letting them weigh 6,000 pounds. Now, to tell a family secret, whenever you go across Brandon Bungar's scales and it says 6,000 pounds, you're probably closer to 6,150 to 6,200 than you think. But we do that on purpose. And so everything went well. A lot of guys were sending me, you know, red flags that, man, we built a lot more horsepower since we've seen you last. We really would like to just weigh 6,250 up there. And I trusted them. And that's when I went ahead and did, because I tried to explain to them at Shipshewana, at our indoor event, we have to go fast. And you got 3.5 to 4 minutes to make yourself famous. And I don't want to deal with wild rides, tearing front ends out for any of them, breaking back tires or front tires off. I made the joke of, you know, you knock one of your front tires off and it bounces up here when those Amish boys gets it, they might keep it. They're not going to give it back.
That's not a joke.
You know, and they all laughed at me because I'm being a smart aleck, but I just told them, I said,
no, and I mean, it shouldn't.
As a guy, well, Shane, my college best friend, we had a twin. He had a twin charger alcohol tractor, and we weighed 6,000 pounds. And we went down the track with a 480 cubic inch twin charger motor, and it was nice and comfortable. But I guarantee you, I could take that same tractor, fast forward, and go pull in a light limited class, and I'd be 30 foot behind.
Oh, yeah.
The turbocharger technology and the fuel system technology is so much better than it was back in 1995 to 2000, that these tractors have the same horsepower as the super stocks did. What do you think, Charles? I mean, right before the squealer started his insanity, probably right there.
Yep, I would say with that. Yep, I'm on board with that.
Before we put the overhead cams on the squealer, probably right there.
Right, yeah, 90, what, 97, 8?
7, 8, 9, right in there.
Yep.
So, you know, the weight is the weight, and then if they're daring enough and the group that they're pulling with allows them to be that light, you know, good luck. You know, a lot of guys throw their 2 cents in it. Well, you know, they need to learn how to pull. Okay. Explain that to a lawyer or explain that to a promoter whenever y'all wreck.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the hard explanation, because everybody's got to remember we're in show business. We're trying to put on a show. It's a pulling competition. If we're going to make it difficult to get on a track, well, let's pull on the ice, or let's make it muddy and greasy. You know,
We can make
that.
we can make it really stupid for you. That's fine. We can make it muddy and heavy, and you'll go like 90 feet. And I can show you a USHRA video, and there was whatever 40,000 people in the stands to watch it, so it worked.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the weight that works good for us out west is 6,500 pounds with the 410 tractors and 64 with the alcohol. We were really, I really was against putting the 466 tractors into the PPL Western Series rules, and the reason I was that is because I already had a 466 class.
Right.
And I did not want those guys, trying to run two. And I knew because I'm good friends with Larry Phillips, and Larry had a diesel tractor and pulled it for years.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
kept telling him, I was like, you guys are going to figure this diesel out, and then it's going to be really, really bad for these alcohol guys. And I think we're approaching that.
Yeah. It showed flashes of brilliance back then.
Yeah.
I mean, now their light limit they have a diesel engine sitting there for it. Just hasn't ran in a couple of years.
And the alcohol guys, they get beat up because every group takes stuff away from them. And down.
No, the internet.
Phone call.
ECI, they neuter the alcohol tractors so bad. I'm surprised they even show up. But they do, and they keep trying. And I think an alcohol tractor won ECI this year, even like a 250-pound weight differentiation.
Yeah, they actually went number 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, they're kind of good at it.
They're kind of good at it. They almost won Badger State too. They come one hook or one position away from it.
That was, yeah. I mean, Zane, what's your take on all this with weight and all that?
Depending on the class, I mean, like you guys are talking with the light limited supers and stuff like that, that's weight's just a big deal for those tractors. Light supers, light limited. I mean, you're like he was saying earlier, something that's weighing 5,500, 6,000 pounds with that much power underneath it, and that can get out of control in a hurry.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Klint said, the turbo technology and technology as a whole has just changed so much where I don't think – I mean, I personally would like to see them 62, 65 like Klint said, but whether they adopt that or not, it's completely up to them.
Like you said, with the turbo technology, that is huge. I mean, when we switched to the Chargers that we have on now, it was a drastic increase in horsepower.
Exactly.
What you don't have to say what you gonna say what you're running for turbos or?
Yeah, we're running Hearts.
How big's your top one, Zane?
I believe they are. I believe they're 5 or just a touch under, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so he's got a 5-inch turbo on, and the capabilities are up to 6.5.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm pretty positive that's probably what most guys are running out there.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few guys running Weimers on alcohol tractors, but it seems like that's working for them too pretty well. But I'm not going to say who those guys are to throw them under the bus. But
come on.
You can just look in the front of the screen and look at them. They're sitting right there.
Yeah. So, got a question here for Clint. He said, should truck pullers also be required, the diesel trucks, to run sheet metal / body according to the engine?
No, absolutely not. They're NASCARs.
Yeah.
That ship sailed a long time ago.
They swap them in dailies. What's the difference?
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't put a Toyota hood on it, or we'll have to paint it pink.
V8s to the front, motherfucker.
That's fair.
Gatorade.
Yep. Y'all, we were talking before the show too, kind of switching gears from pulling to, I mean, some of the events we have coming up. I mean, as far as racing goes, we have Gateway Dirt Nationals coming up. I think Chili Bowl's on the horizon.
Bring that.
PRI is this coming weekend. I mean, some of the things I've already seen there. I mean, Decision Maker pulling sleds there on Something to Prove diesel truck. High Tech Rednecks there. A lot is supposed to be unveiling their new tractor this weekend.
Light Super, I think. That's what I see.
I've seen a little snippet of a preview because I saw it in a picture earlier. If it looks like that in person, oh my jeez, it's gonna
It damn near looks the same as number 2.
Does it?
It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
It's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different. A little bit, not much.
But I mean, I just feel like
it's lightened up.
Yeah, it seems like every year, though, y'all. I mean, it seems like tractor pulling's gaining more of a presence there at the PRI show.
But is it? Because we just came out of all of the banquets for sled pulling with nothing. There was no major announcements. There was no big moments. And we're heading into tomorrow. All these opportunities, all these press releases for all these motorsports where there's something big going to be announced over the next 3 days, and sled pulling isn't a part of it. And on the floor, there's one, maybe 2 sled pulling organizations, 3.
Organizations are probably
on the floor. Are we really gonna say that we're here to like blow the lid off everything? The fuck we are. No, we're not. They're gonna walk around FPP's booth and see Jaden Littman's truck and go, that's sweet. And they're going to go out into the arena, and they're going to see a couple super stocks out there on the floor of Lucas Oil Stadium. Is tractor pulling really for real when we've got nothing to fucking say? Nothing.
We're taking steps in a weird direction. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Everybody else got something to announce this week. Where are we?
Heck,
this sport's growing. We're doing awesome. Everything's great. You're going to sit here and say, "Well, I can't wait for 2024. It's going to be awesome." Is it? What did we bring in? How did we make it better? Is it better?
Yeah. Well, I mean, NHRA is saying that they have the biggest news in their entire history of NHRA. And we have
Zane, I'm exalting you of anything I say. You are not attached to this. This is the everything I say is mine and mine alone, and the rest of you are absolved of any associated guilt. But what the fuck? We're Wednesday night before PRI, and we've got nothing. All of the banquets are done for sled pulling, and there has been no big, like, earth-shattering announcement of, hey, this is the next big, this is how we're going to raise the world. Silent radio silence. We're fucked. We're fucked.
Charles, I really think it's the economy right now. Everybody's afraid to raise their head because, I think everybody is in a maintain mode right now, to be honest. I think every group has got financial struggle and trying to, because our game, as far as pulling is concerned, we are stuck in a rut, and it's a rut that we probably are going to really struggle to get out of, because you go to an NHRA event, and I go to them. I'm an NHRA member. I go to one race a year. I wish I could go to 2. I wish I could go to Chicago, but I'm always pulling. The St. Louis race is a great race, a great facility. They're probably one of the only facilities in the United States that has IRL. They have NASCAR and NHRA in the same facility, and I'm drunk with horsepower because it's, 70 miles from my house. I can be there.
Yep.
In city. Yep. And but when you go to an NHR event, you pay $50 to $60 to get in to do anything. Our price game of $15 to get in, and maybe $20 for a pit pass, that does not give our promoters any money to do anything better than what we're doing. And as a guy that books shows, they're looking for 3 to 3.5 hours of entertainment, the cheapest way they can get it, and that is where our sport is caught. And until our fans realize that if you want to see like Zane's class and the 4-engine mods and a good class of 2-liters and a good class of big diesel supers and 20 pro stocks go down the track, if you'd pay 40 or be happy to pay 40 or $50 to watch that in the evening, the promoters might be able to afford it.
Yep.
And then we can put together bigger shows and do bigger things.
Bigger payouts.
Bigger payouts, exactly.
Yeah.
But
See,
we're
now,
stuck. We're
Dylan
stuck.
Kirks leaves this comment too. He said the Summit Motorsports Park idea was cool with the dirt on the drag strip, but who knows if we will see that again.
I think we will.
That's been a Seward's folly at several events. I mean, I was a part of the one in Arizona, and that was interesting to say the least. I was at Bristol, Tennessee, whenever ATPA put the dirt on pit road, and we finally figured out the day before we pulled that it wasn't wide enough for 2 tracks. That was interesting. But yeah, whenever you start going and putting dirt on race facilities in towns that are used to racing, and we bring pulling there, we've all struggled.
Yeah.
We've all struggled.
I'll tell you another example of that too. I mean, it's nothing that we did that anybody did wrong, but DeCoin a couple of years ago, for some reason, that area just does not support bowling.
No, absolutely not.
And it was on one of the meanest indoor tracks there is.
Yeah, it was. I was there with you guys, with all you guys.
Yeah.
That's a great place. It's just not in a very good pulling world. My sister, like I said, I mentioned before, she's a lawyer. She represents a rodeo promoter. He puts a rodeo on in that same facility in the wintertime. He has so much attendance and money. I forget who he had the second night, but he had the rodeo. It had Scotty McCreery one night, and I think it was like Kip Moore the next night.
Oh, jeez.
So you got a fantastic rodeo plus a major country entertainment for one ticket, and packed the place. And we couldn't get enough people to start a fight.
No.
And I promoted a poll, one of the largest indoor polls ever in there in 2006, 7, 8.
That was so awesome, though.
And then left and went to Cloverdale for that insane disaster that I did. Then I came back in 10, and we was going to split it up over 2 weekends. Have diesel one weekend, alcohol the next. Had a big lineup, and we had to cancel the alcohol weekend because we needed to average like 560 or 700 or 560 or 600 people a session to break even. We averaged like 330 people through the gate. It's just not there.
Yeah, I mean, Morgan.
It's not there.
Yeah, Morgan left an interesting comment too. He said, "I think we're also in a place where a lot of people don't care. They are fine with the farm stocks, the Roman you run trucks and tractors, and maybe something a bit bigger just to get by."
Table that one. Let's table that. We have spent a lot of time beating to death a lot of tropes tonight, and we've got Zane Daly here, and we haven't really properly abused him. And so, like, let's set aside all this stuff. Like, we could talk about a bunch of this stuff ad nauseum. He's given his night already for already an hour plus, and we haven't really got to his story. Let's just set all this bullshit aside. We can ignore it. Well, we can't ignore it, but we can argue it endlessly.
Right.
Let's do him right and take advantage of his time. More so than we already have. And our apologies, Zane. We didn't mean to draw you into a bunch of discussion about the state of the sport or whatever. Like, you know, you were invited here, so let's
we went down a rabbit hole.
I enjoy hearing everybody's opinion on that stuff though, because everybody has a different opinion on it. It's just
not to cut you off, Clint, but we'll continue this tomorrow.
Oh,
To be fair, I did warn Zane about this today already. So
Yeah, he knew what topics we were getting into.
That's fine. That's fine. But good almighty, we can keep you up all night. Like, well, that's not fair. That's not fair.
And if
Let's talk
if there's
about
gonna be
big time alcohol supers. That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah. If there's a part 2 to what we've been talking about tomorrow, though, yes, please. I hope so. Yep. But Zane, we did get going on a other tangent because of what's going on in the world. But we already asked you earlier about the farm machinery show and everything. You said you guys didn't know if you were going to be ready. So you guys opted out, unfortunately. So what's y'all's plans looking like for this coming summer?
Once we get stuff back together here, we're hoping we'll get invited down to the truck show, and I believe that's the end of March this year.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Hoping to get invited to that one, and then run the Grand National Circuit again, and hit a few region ones that are close to home. So
yeah. So what got you into pulling as a whole? You're kind of new to the scene to me because of where I live. I mean, I don't get to see you guys like Wyatt does for sure with the super stocks and Decorah and other places. I mean, just how did you even fall in love with this madness that we've been talking about for the last hour and a half?
I've just been going to pulls forever and helping Bob forever, and then he let me start driving when I turned 16, and now I really am stuck on it. So
yeah, I mean, you didn't, as far as I know, have you always been super stock?
Yeah.
Or did you do a little driving something else before that?
No, that was the first thing I drove. So
all right, where?
Edgewood, actually, pretty close to you, Wyatt.
Oh,
Seriously? Was it? Wait. Was that Tri-State days?
Yeah. Yep.
How long have you been in the seat? Really?
We'll do the math. What are you now, and what you drove at 16?
Yeah, it'd be about 6 years.
Oh, so you're my age then. Okay.
Yep.
That's
all right.
great.
History of the Rutten Deer 2. What is that? A former chassis that Bob used to run, or is it a different one?
No, that was a new chassis when we built the tractor. Yep. The motor he had the block and everything, and just put a lot better stuff in it to make it a little more competitive. But when Bob built a new motor for the tractor that he currently runs in 2020, and a big cube motor, pretty identical to HD. Yeah, and then we took that old block that we had and put a lot of parts in it and some different turbos and made it work pretty good.
What's it look like for you guys in terms of maintenance? What's a week take if you pull on a weekend and then you've got to pull the next weekend? What you've got 2 tractors. What do you got to go through? What's the time commitment, and what does it look like to do with both of those, with 2 of them?
So we really don't run them that hard. So we're pretty fortunate not to have much maintenance on them. We'll change the oil in them, and check the screens and change plugs. And
how often do you guys change the oil in yours? Just out of curiosity, because I haven't.
Every 2 runs.
Every 2?
Every 2 to 4, depending on what the plugs look like, makes a big,
When do you decide you got to boil the alcohol out of it and then rerun the oil?
We don't boil it out. So.
Wow. It really hit me that you said you don't run them that hard, so the maintenance isn't that hard, and I just know how good you guys run. Kind of sparks my interest a little bit.
Well, I'll put it this way. When I counted it up at the end of the year, I had 52 runs on my motor since we tore it apart and rebuilt it.
So did you make 52 hooks this past season, or did you?
2 years.
Past 2? You haven't had that thing apart in 2 years?
Yep.
I'd say you got your program figured out then. That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah, nobody. Every time
Wow.
I see that, they'll kind of look at me and their jaw will drop. They just can't believe that. But
Yeah.
no, we're besides really, oil every couple pulls and then plugs and check the computer and just kind of look everything over really good.
What do you don't have to, I don't expect you to answer what your numbers are, but what are you monitoring in the data logger? What are you looking at? What are the channels that are feeding back that you're paying attention to?
Paying attention to temperatures the most.
Mhm.
We don't like running stuff too hot.
What's
we
your
might
average
do
temperature on yours?
We're running around that 1200, 1150 to 1200, right at the start of your
I told him I wasn't going to make him give up numbers. I just want to know what
I
channels
didn't
he was
mean for him to
paying
give up the
attention to.
numbers. I was just curious about the temperatures compared to mine.
Those numbers aren't too important. So
Yeah.
be different if you ask me dyno numbers.
What are those?
Heck,
All right, so what are those?
Doesn't matter.
No comment.
He
No,
pleads.
they're always higher at the start of the run. And everything kind of settles back down, after the first about 10, 15 feet. And that settles out, to about
What's your deflection across the cylinder block? Crank circle versus cam center.
You cut out the first part of that.
Yep, that's good because I was really going to put you on the spot about like some super nerd like cam dyno numbers.
Oh,
Just
I wouldn't know that one.
hoping, yeah, like catch you off guard with like super specific thing and like, oh yeah, it's this. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So what does the tire game look like for you guys with all the different tires you've got out there and then the Matosses and all that?
Tires seem to make a pretty big difference in our class. The Mitas thought about trying them, but everybody says you're gonna have to take weight off because they weigh a couple 100 pounds more or something than
They do.
Firestones. So, we see a few pro pullers out there. Those look like pretty good tire. We're on Firestones, but I think it all comes down to the track too. If you can find that tire that it's you got the right lug on it where it'll on a really good track that's biting, you're not piling too much dirt. And you get on a bad track, where you can actually hook into it instead of just riding on the top.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that can be done with the lug height, right?
Yep.
On the Puller 2000, how much is there in terms of adjustability in the V? 23 degree. Can you move that when it's on a cut? And I'm not asking you to say what you guys are doing, but just speak to what the tires are capable of doing. Can you move that? Because everybody talks about the Mitas, well, it's blank slate. Can the Puller 2000 also replicate some of that adjustability and angle?
I'm not 100% sure on that one. That's a good question because I've heard that people talk about that before, compared to the Mitas, like you said. But I don't think you can do as much that way with them as you can on like you said, the blank slate on the Mitas. But on like our two sets that we have, because our two tractors, our tires are pretty different. So that one's we got quite a bit different angle set up when we got those. And that's the reason we did that, to try them, and see how much of a difference there is in that.
Now, what angle are you talking about? Are you talking about the point angle like this, or how far it's laid back?
We're talking laid back.
Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting.
And the point is different on those two. So if you look at my tire compared to the one that Bob's got on, mine's laying out a little flatter, and then I've got a little wider of V where they're laying out than what he does. And he's got quite a bit more lug on his than I did. Well, they're cut down a little more now because we're just piling way too much dirt with that thing when you get on a good track. Like Toma, I mean, there's like 3.5, 4 foot of dirt piled up behind him. He just couldn't go anywhere, But then get on a racetrack that's all hard packed down, and that tire will bite in, and he'll put 10 foot on me.
So let me extrapolate that a little further. Your thoughts on lug height versus lug count per circumference. So a really tall cut, say whatever number you want to ascribe to it, versus a shorter cut that is maybe doubled around the circumference, where it's more bite per circumference, and you're just getting that chop for wheel speed.
Again, I think it comes down to, it's just, if you could take all those sets of tires, that we're talking about right now, if you could take them, go out to a track and just sit there and run each set all day, to try and figure some of this stuff out, because it seems like you're never going to know with a tire until you try it. But then you got that break-in time on most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The set that we had on mine, they were supposed to be already broke in. Well, we ran them on Bob's in 2020. They worked, but they weren't. You could just tell they weren't broke in yet. And we only had, I think, four runs that year, 4 or 6 places we pulled in 2020. And then when we put them on mine, and 2 runs in 22, and they're broke in. And then this year we got them figured out on air pressure, and they're working great.
Yep.
Yep. Charles, my brother left this comment here. He said, "Why do we measure tire measurements for rules at 10 pounds? No one runs 10 pounds in their tires when they're pulling. Make tires legal for where they run on the track. Didn't we have rules that limited the number of lugs they could have? Why are we rewriting rules for more tires?"
Zane, I'll let you leave it up there, but Zane, I'll let you address that first.
I'm not sure on that one. It'd be really, I'd like to go see them do the measurements sometime, I guess, just to watch.
I've never thought about it being at
program
10.
of it. But if that is what they're doing it at on 10 pounds, that kind of seems a little off. And
That
I don't
seems
think I
a
know anybody.
little.
Over
Yeah, that seems a little messy.
All right, so more. Here's where I come from this. If it's not 10 pounds that we run them at, what is it? Is it 8? Is it 7? Is it 6.5? Is it 6? Is it 4.32? Where's the spec? You've got to come up with a spec. If we're going to judge one tire versus another, we've got to come up with a number, and 10 was the chosen spec. You've got to come from something. If a 10 is inappropriate, fine. But why is 10 inappropriate? Is 10 allowing somebody to get away with something that they could get away with at 6.35? And so should it be 6.35? Because now we're going to catch somebody doing something? That's where I come with. You got to set a number. So, I get where your brother's coming from, but you got to set a number somewhere.
And I think that number is subject to change here, because Badger State did the same thing with pro stocks.
Well, but it can't change. It's got to be something that's set in stone for a long time. It can't be just.
And him and
tractor pulling isn't pro modified. This isn't. Who's got a screw blower versus a pro charger versus a turbo versus nitrous. Like we're not doing that game. Everybody's on the same tire. Your tire is your tire is your tire is your tire. You set a spec, and if you don't like the spec, well, then there must be a reason why you don't like the spec. So maybe we need to look at something else on your tractor.
Yeah, he said we can get tires certified now, but not the rims they are on. So theoretically,
okay. So I'll that's fine. I'm good with that. He's right. He's right. We set. If you're going to say,
hang on. If you're going to say more to it.
Yeah, there's more. He's right. 10 PSA. Yeah, 10 PSI. Okay. What is the rim diameter? What is the rim width? And so now we're back to the circumference rule, right? Aren't we?
Yeah.
Aren't we back to the same spot? Like, but we've beat the shit out of this rule.
I'm with him though whenever he says at 10 pounds, because I feel like it should be measured at least somewhat close to what you're going to be pulling it at.
I don't like personally, like I don't care what the spec is. I get where he's coming from. I get where you're coming from. I don't care what the spec is. Just set one. What's the rim diameter? Set a rim diameter, set a rim width, set a tire pressure, set a circumference. Set a pressure, whatever. I don't surround it with whatever you want. Make it consistent, and we have not done that. And I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. I'm right there with you. But there's a bunch of fuckery about this, and it shouldn't be. How hard is it to measure what a damn tire is? Why has it got to be this hard?
Zane, this all stemmed from me asking you about what tires you guys like to run.
No, well, it doesn't matter what tire like you run. Firestone, Pro Polar, Mitas, who gives a shit? I don't care anywhere in this house. Whatever tape measure I go grab, I can still make 1 inch be 1 inch. Right? So set a spec that is a number, and everybody's got to follow it. And look
at what he's saying about these Mitos's though. With the low pressure on the 24.5s, they become 30.5s at running pressure with narrow rims.
No, sorry. If you devise a tire that is able to deflect and get around whatever spec is set, that's a failure of the spec. It's not a failure of the tire, right? So we set something. We say it's going to be X number, XYZ GTV spec, whatever tire. That's what it's got to be. And if you blow it up, if you push it to 30 pounds and it blows past that and whatever, I don't care as long as it's the same for everybody. Same for everybody. That's the thing. I get where your brother's coming from. I really do. But put the box and then enforce the box.
We can address this at PRI.
I can't wait. It's gonna be fun because I'm gonna see your brother. Yeah, I've been on him about watching our show.
I'll get my ass chewed, and that's cool. We it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal.
Oh, by the way,
I've been on him about watching our show, and never had told me we're doing a show like this. I mean, this is something him and I literally talked about in his office for about 20 minutes at work the other day.
PRI is fun, man. We get to see everybody. We get to experience each other on a common ground and for a common purpose, which really is the promotion of motorsport beyond what tractor pulling is. And I think that's really important. And if you're not a part of PRI, I really encourage you to be a member. It's $40 to join, whether you go to the expo or you don't. I really want you to do that. I really want you to be a part of what PRI represents, and that is a lobbying organization. If you're not into politics, I don't want you to be in politics. I'm not in part of politics. I don't give a shit about it. But something that's important for us is the preservation of us being a motorsport within our country, and they are the organization that's going to make that happen. And tangentially to that, so is SEMA. Spend your $40, be a member. If you don't go to the show, that's fine. I don't care. But put your $40 in and be a part of PRI and what we're about.
Yeah.
Continue what this motorsport is, and whether it's tractor pulling or anything else, like give us that opportunity, give us that voice, give PRI that voice, and if we can be friends on the show floor, let's do that. Like it's not me versus you. Even on the show, it's not. It's about advancing everything, and we're just trying to go to the same place because we all want to keep doing it. Like 2024 is coming. I've got a kick-ass race schedule. I know all you guys do. I want to keep doing it. I want to do it in 2025. I want to do it 2026.
Yeah. This James Aaron, that's absolute BS, and you know it. You could jump on anything, and you'd be near the top. It doesn't freaking matter
You're
what you're
not
driving.
washed up. Come on.
Yeah, he said put 5,000 on Polo 2000. That's right.
Come on, bro. You're good.
Can we say, by the way, it's not 24.5s anymore. It's 25s. By the way, they're making tires anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So, McCade, there's one down here by me, and I think you'd be the second one that I know of, to be honest, for the Kubotas. Be cool. Yeah. He said it's even down to the number of lugs.
Yeah, well, shit. Yeah, it's unfortunately it is. in some of the classes,
Zane, is that really
it
a
is.
problem that you guys have?
Yeah, Zane, is there a problem with lugs? I mean, I know you said something.
Not where he's at. Not in super stock.
Shouldn't be, but
Is it just us little 24.5 by 32?
Yes, you do 24, 5, 32 guys. You got to worry about that. And because well, it's not just you 24 or 24, 5, 32 guys. You got to worry about it. It's because you don't have pro in front of you.
Mm-hmm. You know where all this tires stuff started, right? For us, whole shots.
Elaborate.
Oh shit!
The whole shot tire.
Here we go.
All this tire talk.
Here we go.
He said not. He said that's about who stays together the longest.
I've done that one.
Bring
back pull-offs.
You want to be mini rod pullers where you got to cut them every damn hook?
Hell no.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, jeez Louise.
If I was running pulling and I'm not, and clearly I'm not, I'd put everybody back on Firestone Field and Roads.
Ah.
Hey, we got to set a Firestone.
You'd make weight. There would be a 5,500 light super. That would still happen. And we would figure out who could hook up.
Yeah. Charles, am I wrong though? Whenever I say all this talk started with the whole shot tire.
No, I don't think that is necessarily fair. No, it does. No, it didn't start with that. Not at all. When were you born? I'm not trying to be an ass.
2000s. Like right at 2000. That's like in my pulling and how much I've actually paid attention to that. The whole shots were the ones that started all that.
So you were born in 2000. What pulling tire includes that year name in
Polar 2000s?
Bingo. Were it not for the Firestone Polar 2000s, this would never have happened. I can show you some stuff. I've never posted it because I don't own the rights to it, and I know who does. The test sessions of the Polar 2000s, where Bob Jostock indoors, controlled conditions, went sky high and crashed the living shit out of the tractor because it was astonishing what the grip was. It didn't start with the Pro Polar tire. It started with Firestone Polar 2000. We were fucked back then. And I've stood in the pit and had the conversation with Joe Eder about Mitas, and he's like, I was the guy who brought it to America, and sorry, and my fault, and blah blah blah. No, because Mitas was just an evolution of what Polar 2000s were.
Pretty sure for those guys too, until they started getting the Mitas on there on that unlimited class, they weren't getting the power to the ground either.
No, actually, no.
For those guys in the mod class, a really big difference.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you a legendary pulling team that ran them on their tractor, and they took them back off after a season. They said, we're not getting our power to the ground like we were. And they took them back off. Huh?
Is it a diesel super?
Yes, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly who they're talking about. They're from the South.
Yeah. They figured it out quick because my brother was kicking it around. They said no, don't. Our class, we don't spin the tires hard enough for that to make a difference. So,
All I know is that me tests don't work in our class.
Yeah, they don't. We don't spin them hard enough.
Anyway,
Man.
I'm
looking
looking for the footage that shows what Puller 2000s do when you're not ready for it. But
Do you have the ability to share stuff?
I do. I just gotta.
Even on our stuff?
Yeah, I think I do. I just gotta poke this around on the right screen so that I can find it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I can show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
I remember when Alliance were being
psychotic.
Zane, you didn't know this was going to turn into a 2-hour rabbit hole show, did you?
I figured it might get that way.
Wyatt told you.
You gave me
you
that.
were warned.
Here's how I'm going to do this.
All right, I got a question.
Blow my headphones off.
Spark him up a little bit.
Who?
Wyatt, when we're done, when we're get on to the next topic.
Oh no, spark him up now. I gotta see this.
We got time. Let's go.
So,
Not a lot of time.
there was this certain podcast that was on here about a week or so ago, and it was just kind of what you were thinking about ordering videos at polls and posting them.
You know what I want? You know what I say about that?
We've got it.
He's already happy I got him wound up.
Yeah, I didn't know that's how you were gonna get him wound up. Anyway, Charles, did you get it?
To those who think it should happen, screw you.
You muted yourself, Charlie.
He's not near his microphone, so
Yeah, your microphone, your headset's all gone. It's killing us.
yeah. No, it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Believe me, I asked people across multiple motorsports, and they even say what the person wants to do is completely wrong. So y'all can guess that one. So
yeah. Why do you feel unlimited supers are not booked as much as light supers?
That's a tough one.
Whoa, dude, check this out. We have somebody watching in England.
yeah,
That's cool. Oh, hey, Charles. How are you?
Okay, good. All right, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for what I'm after.
The fandom kind of got to me on that one. Someone watching all the way from across the pond.
Yeah, it's cool.
I want to know what Mick's rap on his on the forward drive is, because he said he's not going. They said
I
he's
know.
going away from.
Nope. Not telling you. Not telling you.
I know what I want to see, but that wouldn't happen.
Oh, Michael Hurst said it's 2:54 a.m. where he's watching from over there. Good night.
He's in Europe.
Hey, we have a couple Superboys that are from Europe that we're friends with.
Yeah. If we could ever work out how to get them on here, that'd be fun.
God, they'd be a riot.
Oh, I know.
I think
Have you guys ever looked at the stuff that runs over in Europe on the superstock scale, how different it is compared to here? I ask that to everybody because I'm always curious.
It's pretty interesting to watch their, on YouTube or whatever, just to watch some of their super stock classes and just how their pulls work in general. I mean, they're running about like 3 times and pulling off and everything, and they do have some different designs.
Yeah,
under the hoods on the few pictures you see. That'd really be neat to get up close and kind of see how some of that stuff works.
yeah.
I know
Like
there's 2 new diesel supers coming next year over there.
I would love to get an interview with them if we ever could make that happen. Oh, hang on. Hot take. He said until they mandate exhaust wheels, elbows are metal. It doesn't matter how many things you put in the stack. The wheels will always find a way to get out. Turbo rings work. Restriction in the pipe sucks.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, Michael Hurst, he said we have English footballers here. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Charles, did you find it?
Hold on.
Any word?
I've heard that they're waiting until after, like you said, after full pull ends their pick'em things.
Is that what we're waiting on?
That's a rumor mill. That I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, good grief!
Yeah, it's not, and it's not just one person I've heard it from.
Yeah, that. Oh boy. I mean, we literally.
I found it.
I hope you can present it.
Yep. Hold on. Share screen.
I have a pull. We always had a Polo 2000 still sitting.
You're gonna have to allow it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll allow it.
I think
All
I've
right.
seen this video.
I think I have. Oh no, where to go? There it is.
So this is what happens when you find out Polar 2000s.
Oh, this is that run.
Okay, hold on.
Is that Fort Wayne?
It was Fort Wayne. That is what he did on the old school Firestones.
And then
This
now,
is the actual. Hold on, let me find where he went to.
Yeah. Zane, are you a John Deere guy all the way to the grave?
Not really. I've ran about everything there is to run. So
All right, here we go. Here's the Polar 2000s.
Share it up again.
Yep. When somebody didn't know on a 4-engine mod what the hell Polar 2000s were.
How many times did he run this tractor that day?
Twice. He made a hook with the old school tire and then went to Polar 2000s.
oh, you can see the difference in the height.
No kidding. The way the lights in the sled used to be back in the day always kills me compared to what we have now. Oh. Wow.
Took a lot. It took a lot of front weight. A lot. Stupid front weight. They found out. That's so if that's what we're going to talking about. Tire, yeah. Let's go back to old school Firestones. I'd love that because I think it would. And there's a lot of guys who would say the same, especially in the modified world. Bill Voris would say that. Joe Ader would say that. There's a bunch of guys who would say we screwed up. We didn't know any better, but we screwed up.
Zane, what happened?
1 second.
Oh, okay. Yeah. David Wood said it would be sweet to get some Europeans over here, have some worldwide competition that would fill the stands.
Yeah, somebody's got to write the check. That's all it takes.
Someone like a tractor pulling Olympics, I guess you could say.
Just write the check. It's got to come through customs, and it's going to cost you a damn fortune. I'd love to see it too, but it's not cheap.
I missed that exchange program we had going. That was so freaking cool. The Extreme Temptation, the Turn Me Loose, the Dingerings. I mean, they were the main ones that I really got the first chance to talk to from Europe. I mean, just all of those guys. And then sending our guys over to Ahoy, the Galots, Robert, Stone, Berg. I mean, the names that have been over there and the names for them that have come over here. Philip Fairbanks, Carlton Cope.
Mm-hmm.
Ader.
Yeah, Joe.
Bauer.
I didn't know they had went.
Knapp.
Mm-hmm.
Archer.
I mean, it was so cool. Because then they come back and tell us the stories.
The only thing we had the
Kevin Campbell.
Yeah, the only thing that's really rough for that is the difference in rule packages when it comes to each class. Yeah. Unlimited cubes, big blowers, twin mags on mini, and Supers got different cube rules, or Pro Stocks got different cube and turbocharger rules, and heavy mods different weight, and it can be done. It's just a matter of fact of getting it lined up. So
yeah, man, oh man, we've been going for 2 hours already. It doesn't even feel like it.
Well, if you got shit to talk about, it goes.
Yeah.
So.
Charles, do you have anything else you want to add? Zane, I know we didn't get to talk to you as much as we did, and we got going down our rabbit holes, but thank you so much for coming on. If you want to keep coming on with us, dude, and be a regular with us, you're more than welcome.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Let me know.
We're every other Wednesday, so I mean that'll put our next show the 20th, right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Y'all,
if you feel like get the old man in here too. That'd be really cool too.
What, my dad?
100%.
Zane, we need to drive over to Cuba City.
Yeah.
Just do one from
Charles.
You
Maybe that's a sidetrack thing.
No, it's too far for me. That's all on you guys. But do it. Yeah, that'd be sweet. You do an on-site.
I'd have to convince him to come over here to do it. I mean, I would love to get all of us in a room at the same time.
All right. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. But, y'all, we've got PRI coming up this week. Gatorade Dirt Nationals, Midwest Winter Nationals, Florida. I mean, you name it, it is coming our way right now.
We didn't even talk about snowbirds.
Oh, crap.
Well, that's whatever. Snowbirds really didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Got rained out.
Yeah. Let's just say, I think if Spencer didn't red light, he was going the whole damn thing.
Was he really?
He was crushing people on the light.
Yeah. There was another one, Snowball Derby. I think Ty Majeski ended up winning that this weekend.
Yep. So
yeah, but everyone, thank y'all so much for jumping in. This season's fixing to get underway here in a hurry, and
yes,
holiday season's fastly approaching as well. Zane, thank you again, dude. Charles, Wyatt, Mr. Klint Tucker, I don't know if you're still watching. I know your phone was ringing off the hook with
He's
people
busy.
calling you. He's one busy man, but thank every single one of you that have followed us up to this point for being here. Hang on. Bless me. Lyle Barnett would have loaded him, red light or not.
They were off. Well, they were hovering off of each other.
They're on a 1 day delay, so they were up tonight. So I'm sure we lost audience to them, and deservedly so. Nothing against you, Wyatt, or Shane, or you, Zane, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's Stevie Fast, Jackson, Lyle Barnett, Cordy Anderson, Spencer Hyde. I don't think we're gonna top that shit. Sorry.
No.
Nope, not gonna happen.
But sincerely, all from the bottom of our hearts here at the Motorsports Almanac, thank you guys for all the support that you guys have given us. And let me tell you this, we're not going anywhere.
Good.
No matter how much you try and kick us out, we're not going to go anywhere.
Nope.
We're here to stay.
And to those who want to kick us out, I will. You know what's behind this, so.
Yep.
I don't think you can get kicked off here, Wyatt. You can probably just show up.
No. That's for the after we're off live. And Ryan, I side with Lyle on that one.
Yeah.
Authenticity has its place, and the trash takes itself out.
Absolutely. Bingo. See you guys later, and thank you guys for
Thank
making
you,
us
stay on after we're done live. So see you, everybody.